Welcome back to another day in the life. I am not gonna sugarcoat it or try and make this what it's not. I am exhausted today. Scaling out these businesses, to be honest, is way more work than I anticipated. It's not that I thought it would be easy, but I thought that by hiring people like a social media manager and by scaling out the agent side with, another partner, that it would sort of relieve some of my workload. But to be honest, I am working more than I ever have right now, and I have more responsibility and things to manage. It's not that I don't love it, it's just that sometimes it is fucking exhausting. But you know what? Honestly, people say buying your dream car is stupid, and sitting in this car, I've been driving this car almost daily lately. As soon as I sit in this thing, it just makes me, you could probably tell the difference in my voice. It just makes it all worth it. All of the stress, all of the pressure, it just makes it easier to keep going, if that makes sense. We're gonna go look at new office space. Moving firms means that I can't be where I am right now, and I've also completely run out of room. So it's kind of two birds with one stone. The office where I'm at now, I've outgrown, and my current broker can't give me more space. And the infrastructure that I need for the nationwide group is at a different firm. So we're gonna go look at some new office space, and then we're gonna hit the phones. We've got an offer on one of the $2 million listings right now, so we've gotta secure this deal. So I just got off the phone with my client. We're negotiating all these deals. My $6 million seller in LA calls me. We're supposed to golf on Friday, and he says, hey, I just got tickets to the Genesis Open, and we're meeting up with a bunch of higher net worth dudes in the Palisades to just go there and have a ball. So we're not golfing on Friday, but we're gonna be at the Riviera watching the Genesis Open. That is really cool. So we're closing this deal in Moore Park on one of my clients' listings, and the agent on the phone basically wasted a lot of our time making us do inspections and get quotes on things, where they ended up saying they're not giving us a single dollar anyway. They messed up on the HOA fees. They said they were way lower than what they actually are. And they ended up just not crediting us for any of the issues with the house. Throughout this conversation, I'm like, okay, well, this sucks. Like, what about these problems with the house that you didn't share with us, etc. And then the guy just starts yelling at me on the phone, like literally yelling on the phone. And as an agent, that is something that you never want to do, because the likelihood is if this guy ever has a buyer, let's say and I'm not gonna name names, but let's say for example, this guy has a buyer and I have a listing, which is pretty likely to happen. It's a pretty small sandbox out here. And he writes me an offer, and then another agent that doesn't yell on the phone writes an offer. I'm gonna inform my client that it's gonna be a more stable deal and more likely to close with this other party. This world is small, and how you operate in business is very, very important. If you're an agent, I don't think most agents do that, but don't ever yell at anybody on the phone, because long term, at some point, it will come back and bite you. It's so funny, the sponsorship opportunities that come to when you start creating a lot of content. We already got cigars sponsored, all of the cabinets in the garage, a really awesome Porsche table, like a custom made engine table for the podcast. We just got a free heart-shaped pizza from Baroni's in Westlake Village. They just follow me on Instagram, and they said, hey, can we send you some pizza if you shout us out? And of course, I love supporting local companies, and I love pizza, and my wife's gonna love it. So that's just the power of social media. All right, guys, we're going hard right now. We've got $8,000 a month we just signed on the line for new lead services, for home flipping, and for home sellers. Let's go! So we just finished up looking at our first round of offices. This is not gonna work. I actually first started at this office space subleasing way back in the day when I was a brand new agent. And now that I'm a little jaded, I went in there, I'm like, I cannot work out of here. I need a window, I need a big office. And back in the day, I was so excited to work there. I was like, oh, an office, a desk, this is awesome. But I went there, I tried it, I looked at it, not gonna work for the team, for our team and the size that it's at right now. So we're gonna go look at some other offices. But before that, we are going into the valley to go check out a potential flip opportunity. All right, we've got this detached garage, side yard, single story property. This is on some nice land in a very nice neighborhood. Their asking price is $1,150,000. We'll see what we can do with it. Awesome living room right when you walk in. This could totally be opened up. Dated kitchen. Yeah, I think if you open this up right here,
You gotta kind of get rid of this fireplace though, that's the killer. But if you open all of this up, this is awesome. So we've got the backyard here. This is a good sized lot, 10,000 feet, and it has this 2-car detached garage that I'm thinking we could convert into a guest house. Lots of fruit trees and some luxury homes around it. Like the neighbor's house is crazy, and there's one across the street that looks really good. But I don't know, this margin might be a little too tight because there's no pool. It doesn't have that luxury feeling that people would pay a premium for. Walking back to the inside, this is the fire pit that needs to be blown out so we can open up this entire floor plan. Here we would also have to open everything. There's an extra bathroom here, but here we would have to open everything so it's got that open floor plan. Big master suite here. It's a little dark, but this master suite is a great size. It's got its own attached bathroom, so that's good. But I'm kind of trying to figure out how I can make this work at $1,150,000. That's tight. I don't think there's enough margin in it because I don't think this sells for over maybe 1.5 fixed up. So we're gonna talk to him, we're gonna brainstorm, and I'll let you know what we end up deciding. So we're already in the area. I decided to stop in on my grandpa. My grandpa lives on almost an entire acre. This is just the front yard. The backyard has an entire, is even bigger than this. And growing up, we used to have paintball wars, airsoft wars at this house. I have so many memories here. And the house is getting a little more run down as time goes on, but I have so many amazing memories at this property. Hey, Grandpa.
I left it open for you.
Oh, thanks. How's it going?
Oh, so-so.
All right, so this is my grandpa, Grandpa Carl. Carl, how much did you pay for this house back in the day when you bought it?
$39,000.
$39,000?
Yeah.
If you had to guess, what do you think it's worth today?
It's 1.2 million.
If you could give any advice to young guys with investing, what would your best piece of advice be?
If you like to gamble, that's it, because that's the way it is. You know, you can drop $10,000 a day, think nothing of it.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the market and worry about 20 cents on a pound of meat.
Yeah.
It's a very funny thinking. But I think that was because, you know, raised in a depression. We got food stamp from the government. My father worked on a cruise for the government. But everybody in our area were in that area. I didn't know any difference. I thought the whole world lived like that.
Have the houses that you've bought been the best things that you've invested in?
No, well, the best thing, of course, is the market because of the 10 years of going up.
Mm-hmm.
But I never liked to invest in real estate. The first house we came out here, I paid $19,000 for, and now they're going for $600,000 or $700,000. During the 60 years I've been out here, that happened in real estate. It'd go up, and then it'd be a long period, and then it'd go up and down. But there are probably 3 or 4 cycles like that, where the one time this house was appraised at when your father and Tony were in school. I had to borrow money, and houses were going for about $500,000 then.
Yeah.
But then when I got the appraisal, they only appraised it at $300,000.
Uh-huh.
But I only borrowed, you know, less than $100,000.
Yeah.
It didn't bother me.
And
then I took over a loan. At that time, you could take over a veteran's loan.
Oh, right.
And so I took a loan of 4%, and the payments were $100 a month.
Yeah.
And I should have held on to the house, but I just didn't feel like I like to fool with real estate.
With real estate. Yeah. Grandpa was a rocket scientist. And can you tell the camera what technology you developed and kind of what you did?
First off with Rocketdyne. At that point, that's for developing the long-range missiles.
Mm-hmm.
And I did work on that, but the majority of work has been on electric propulsion. And that's where you have a gas and accelerate it out at a very low force, but adjust things. So I guess the only thing that resulted from that, the little rockets they have on DirecTV were the rockets I helped develop.
I was always the best in school, right?
Well, tutoring you, it's just that because you're the AD, your mind would drift.
Always.
we'd be tutoring, and then you'd have to go to the bathroom. Then you'd have to eat. Then you had to rest. And I'd probably be with you over an hour, and we got maybe 15 minutes to study.
Yeah. We were kidding because growing up, I had the worst ADD. I had the worst grades, and my grandpa's like the only reason that I was able to make it through a lot of my schooling, because he had the patience to sit down with me and actually help me with the math, English, whatever it was. In high school, I had like all D's, and my grandpa, he tutored me all the way through community college, because that's how bad I was at school. But to what you're saying, I have the kind of brain where once I turn it on and I see something that actually stimulates my mind, such as growing a business or scaling, that's when I'm able to really kind of focus.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you've shown it now on that, and even on the brokerage tests. I had no idea how difficult it is, but I understand it. It's a pretty tough test.
Yeah, the real estate test is probably the easiest part of the real estate business. It does have a super high fail rate. It's like, I think 80% of people fail the first time they take it. But to anyone who's watching, passing the real estate test is the easiest part of getting into the real estate business. Once you start actually scaling a business and having to implement discipline and taking risks, that's when it starts getting very hard, very fast. If you could tell people, what was I like growing up?
Well, you didn't get in any trouble or anything. I mean, it's just like things are funny, and especially in baseball. Soccer was a little different. You were really concentrating on soccer. But in baseball, you'd be in the outfield, you'd be looking the other way. The guy hit a ball, you wouldn't even know what's going on. It's just your attention thing, you'd change. You wouldn't. I'd just say your mind would wander. You stop thinking about baseball, probably thinking about what you're going to do the next day. Yeah. And the times, but in soccer, you really got serious, and you were quite great in soccer.
Grandpa used to build our skating ramps and our half pipes growing up. He would literally, with his hands in this workshop in the house, he would go and build our massive skating ramps that we used to skate on.
My father and his brother were important in setting up the Carpenters Union where I lived.
Mm-hmm.
And so after I stopped working, then he said, look, I'll get you a permit to work in the union. And so in the summers, I'd work with them and make over $1,000 or so. But then one year I worked with a guy who was maybe 5-10 years older than me. He said, look, he said, we worked pretty good together. He said, last year I made $7,000, which was a lot of money. He said, why don't we join a business, make a business? So I went to my father and I said, this guy wants me to go in business with him, and I'm going to quit college. He said, you're not going to quit college. He said, I'll make it so you'll never get a job as a carpenter in this town. And so I went back to school and quit during the summers I'd still work, make enough money to get through college myself, because I wouldn't have too many. I was just having expenses because I was on full scholarships on us.
Yeah.
So that worked out.
All right, so the camera died halfway through, but basically my grandpa used to be a rocket scientist, and he got that side of the brain. Very, very interesting dude, done very well for himself. One of the smartest people that I know, literally tutored me all the way through college. He was raised on food stamps, so like our family did not come from money. And growing up, my dad did okay. It's not like I directly ever struggled for meals or anything like that, but it's really interesting to hear how my family actually started. Now I'm gonna show you the backyard of this house. This was the most fun house ever to play at growing up. We could shoot our guns, we could do literally whatever we wanted here. Check it out. So this is just part of the backyard. This is the pool. It's all obviously very overgrown back here because it doesn't get used. So this is one part of the yard. And then you walk through here. We used to hide in this area with our airsoft guns and like ambush people as they would walk through to the back here. And then you walk out to this other part of the yard, and it's just this massive field that we would set up obstacles, and we used to hide from each other and shoot at each other. I have so many memories here growing up. What an awesome piece of property to be able to have fun at as a kid. So there's this small mound and this tree right here. We used to post up right here and wait for people to come through that gate and start shooting at them. I thought it would be kind of interesting to show you guys a big part of my childhood, introduce you to my grandpa, and give you a little bit of insight as to where we kind of came from. So that house that we just went and looked at in the valley actually came to me from the owner of Brony's Pizza that sponsored that post. They brought us free pizza. I forgot to get a video for you guys, but it's on Instagram. I'll link it here. And then he told me he's actually also a real estate agent. He's like, hey, do you flip houses? I'm like, of course I do. And he brought me this house off market and I went and looked at it. I made an offer that I'd buy it if the seller will finance the deal, which basically means that I can't pay an 8% interest rate or flip it because there's no margin there. But if the seller is willing to finance me the property at a very low interest rate, then there could be an investment there. And so that's the offer I made, and we'll see if it sticks. Happy Valentine's, guys.
Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's, Emma.
I got you a stinky suit, you guys.
Emma, do you want to say Happy Valentine's? Last chance to say Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's, Camilla. I buy you a stinky shoe.
Now we are getting ready for the Ricky Carruth podcast. Ricky is a famous social media real estate influencer. He has over 400,000 followers. I am so excited to get this done. We've got the podcast studio all set up. We've got bagels, coffee, Ferrari in the background, lights on. We are ready to rip. And then after this, I'm gonna handle some business and then I'm going to watch Ricky speak and we are going to dinner together after. All right, so Ricky's here. We're getting ready to film. Not gonna lie, a little bit nervous. I look up to Ricky a lot, so this is a really cool experience. I'm excited to get this content. Amazing podcast with Ricky. We just finished up lunch, got our office locked in. We are moving fast right now. Now we're off to LA for an event in the Ferrari. Ricky is speaking and then we're doing dinner together after. Just pulled up. Our boy Ricky is talking on stage right now. Let's go check it out.
This is a very determined young man. When you get a lead, how many people here, you do buyer leads? You ever had a buyer reject you or be mean to you? Yeah. So we don't go after sellers because we're scared of rejection.
All right, so we're just wrapping up. Ricky killed it. He's doing a quick photo shoot and then we're off to dinner. The Ricky podcast was amazing. I'm so excited that I got that opportunity to film with him. Now we're looking at more office space. This place is beautiful. Let's check it out. All right, we've got option number 1 here. Kind of like an L-shaped office. The lights need to be fixed, but decent size. We could definitely fit all 3 of us in here. This one is a little tighter. Like we'd have one person tucked away in this corner, Tyler here, me here. This would work. It has a window, but it's definitely smaller. All right, quick and sweet, we're out of here. We are now going to head over to the landing to see if we can check out any offices over there. This is a beautiful office space. It's got really nice lights over here. I actually used to work out of this building at Compass, so this might work. So here is our other office option. Really nice lake views, but I'm paying for, it's actually a good size here, but I'm paying for a lot of square footage that is not usable. You can see it's in pretty rough shape, but the location is perfect. It's literally on the water in Westlake, so I love that. That is really beautiful. And then the rest of this space, not quite sure what to do with it. So this office might just work for us. Main level, decent lighting. Looks out over the mountains in the parking lot, and this is way cheaper than the other offices we've been looking at. It's plenty of size. I think we might have a new office. We'll see you next episode.